Hey there fans in Comic Land, it's Leila here from the Comic Connection with this week's comic book reviews. And first up we've got Daredevil, #1 by Mark Waid and Paulo Rivera. So after having his identity outed in the press, Matt Murdock has spent months trying to prove that he's not Daredevil, and it's really making it hard to be a lawyer. But he still protects the city as the man without fear, stopping a kidnapping by the Spot. So I like this. Daredevil's gone through quite a journey after Shadowland, and he finally gets his books, back, because, Black Panther's still in his book, which I don't understand. But anyway, so we get back to basics here, but this is a changed Matt Murdock. So, those other events did happen, and it did impact the way that he's able to do business as a superhero, and I really liked how they did this. The art style isn't my favorite, but it does work in the action scenes, so overall, a good #1. Next up, we've got Reign #1 by Nick Lyons and Sean Lee. After Reign completes a job for the mega hot Mr. Baker, she's contacted by a new client to procure a necklace, but this job is going to put her in the middle of a very dangerous situation. So this one was okay. I mean, this is Blue Water trying to do something other than a biocomic, which I like. The art's, pretty good. It never fails to show off the character's assets. But the story, while well executed, wasn't really that interesting to me up until the last few pages, and then who knows if it gets more interesting after that. But if you like action and mystery books, this could be the one for you. Next up, we've got War of the Green Lanterns #1 of 2 by Tony Bedard, Michael Sepulveda, and Tyler Kirkham. So after all that has happened, the Green Lanterns are trying to return life to somewhat normal and repair all the damage to Oa, but disturbing facts have come to light. The Guardians are afraid that if a human lantern like Hal Jordan can kill one of their own, might the rest of them be in danger, and are the rings still tainted? And this fear could make them do something really desperate, even more desperate than exiling Hal from the Corps. And meanwhile, dissent grows in the ranks as the Corps wishes to exile the traitor Sinestro and may take drastic measures to make it happen. So this was awesome. I loved it. I'm going to be kind of sad when the new DCU drops, only because, this Green Lantern stuff has been so good, and who knows where it could have gone. And while I know that the new DCU is not a reboot of any kind, and that, all this stuff still will have happened, I feel like they're going to take a huge step back, going back to a #1 in Green Lantern. But we'll see. I've loved all this so far, and you definitely should pick up this book. And speaking of the new DCU, DC has put out a free preview for fans out there, sort of describing the new 52 and giving you a nice little shipping schedule on the back so you know when everything is coming. So our challenge for you fans is to let us know, what titles are you looking forward to? Which ones do you think are going to be an epic failure or look like they're sad? Let's get the discussion rolling. I'd like to hear from you and have a little chat about it. See you next week.
Hey folks, Jim here with this week's comic book reviews. First up, we have To Fight with Monsters, written by Brian Keane with Mike Olivieri, with art by Ben Dunn. And in this one, when humanity devolves into a monstrous state, teenager Rick Donovan joins his fellow townspeople in makeshift trenches to defend against the monsters now roaming the world. But are the townspeople the real monsters Rick should be fighting? This is a really dark tale of humanity and what may be. And well, quite frankly, the real monsters are humanity, and there are no characters worth giving a damn about in this book. I mean, quite literally. I wanted to personally choke each and every one of these characters, including the main one. Just the sheer amount of uncaring towards other human beings kind of made me leery of this book, but I mean, it's well written for being a dark tome, but the art really sells it. Ben's art, as always, is great. I like Brian Keane's writing style, but it just doesn't seem to work or gel here where it does in The Last Zombie. But if you like Brian Keane's stuff, you're probably going to like this. It's a little darker than his usual, but then again, with a story like this, there's not much else you can go. Next up, we have Sergio Aragones' Funnies, #1, written and drawn by Sergio Aragones. And in this one, it has various short stories from Aragones' life and imagination brought to hilarious life. If you know Aragones' work from, well, Gru, Mad Magazine, Mighty Condor, I could go on and on about all the stuff that he's done. like TV shows, etc., etc. You're gonna really enjoy this. This is a whole bunch of new material from Aragones, and I mean, with a man who has over 50 years of experience in this industry, it's always fun to see new material from him, and it's always hilarious. If you want to try something a little different, in a different comedic style, try this out. You won't regret it. Next up, Avengelyne, #1, written by Rob Liefeld with Mark Polton, and art by Owen Gianni. And in this one, snow falls in New York as a psychotic serial killer Torment hunts new victims, while the spirit of Avengelyne is reborn in the body of the adult film star Heaven Star. What new dangers await Avengelyne's new avatar? I hate to say it. I really hate to say it, but I actually enjoyed this book. Yeah, shoot me now. I enjoyed a book that Rob Liefeld helped write. I'm so going to be murdered. But what really sells this book for me is the really nice art by Owen Gianni. The art is simply gorgeous to look at. It's probably some of the best art I've seen in a while from Image, other than Carbon Gray and a few others. But not a bad start to a new series, and it's got a little bit of flashbacks to the old original series, so it's an okay start. Story-wise, it's not everything it needs to be, but it's not bad either. If you want to try something new with Avengelyne, or if you haven't read the book in a few years, try this one out. You might enjoy it. And last, and certainly least, is Duke Nukem Glorious Bastard #1, written by Tom Waltz with art by Zermanico. Sounds like a poor name, Zermanico. Yeah, if you know the Duke Nukem games, you're going to know what this is. But basically the story is, in Germany 1945, an alien invasion is about to take place, and it'll be up to a time-traveling Duke Nukem to stop the invasion from happening and saving the future and his babes. Yeah, what a chauvinist douche character. I really cannot get this character. I don't know why so many people enjoy him. I hate him with a passion, and just the sheer rudeness and badness of this guy, I mean, it makes me kind of sick in various ways, and I really don't like this book. Art's not great, story is terrible, and the character has no redeeming qualities whatsoever. Why do you people like this? Why? And hey folks, welcome back. It's really hot in here. Welcome to the news section for this week, and first off we have a little review of a certain film.
Yes, let you guys know last week that I would be going to see Harry Potter, the new Harry Potter movie.
Did any of you send her glasses?
Please send them to me! I just need one pair. Okay, so overall, I'll do a review that has no spoilers in it because, you know...
Everybody dies.
You know, some people haven't read the books, don't know what happens, and I hate people who spoil movies. So I'm going to do this review without any spoilers.
Snape killed Dumbledore.
Yes, they know that already, because that movie was a while ago.
No.
So, in this movie, you know, it's the big last showdown between Harry and Voldemort, and, you know, everybody is there in the middle of it all. You've seen from the trailers, there's a big battle at Hogwarts, and it all comes down to the end. So, what I'll say is that Alan Rickman is awesome in this movie. In fact, he's awesome in all of them as Professor Snape, and this was no different. I did go see the movie in 3D, but I will say that it's not necessary to see it in 3D. It's the 3D that gives you depth and stuff, and for the few moments that something jumped out at the screen at you, which I don't really even care for that, it wasn't really worth it, so you don't have to see it in 3D to enjoy this movie. Overall, I think the cast did really well, especially the main three, finally bringing everything to a close. The one thing that I will say that I was a little disappointed in is the limited amount of scope that was given to a major character's death in the end, and I won't say who, but I will say that even in the book it was a little bit longer, and in the book it wasn't even given that much, but what it was given was really heartfelt, and I just felt like it was a little brushed over in this, and I don't know if it was because of time, because the movie was already a little long, So I'm hoping that if there's a special edition, that there's a little bit more for that character, because I thought he really deserved it.
And let's hope they kill him more brutally.
No, I'm just saying, you know, I just felt like more attention could have been paid. And, but overall, I really enjoyed the movie. I think it is great for everyone to go and see it, and it's not surprising that it's making so much money. I thought it was really well done. For the people who are fans of the books, there are a little bit of tweaks here and there about the order of things that happen or the way that things are found out, but I overall felt that the changes that were made were best for the movie and pushing the movie forward and keeping it interesting. So overall, I thought it was really great.
And you know, the best part
is that it's over for you, right, Jim?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We don't have to suffer through any more Harry Potter. And soon, no more Twilight either.
But the next one that's coming, for you people out there that want to know what the next big phenomenon is going to be, I predict it's going to be the Hunger Games, and if you haven't checked it out, make sure that you do.
Next up, we have our thoughts on the next summer's movie trailers.
Yes.
Dark Knight, Spider-Man,
yes.
And, well, we'll talk about the Avengers next week. But,
yes. The Dark Knight one I saw at the Harry Potter movie.
It was okay.
It was okay. It doesn't tell you anything.
Doesn't say anything, and it's really not any new footage other than seeing Bane's back, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
But nothing really new there. The Spider-Man trailer.
Surprisingly good.
Surprisingly good, but it seems a lot darker than what Raimi did before.
It does. It does seem like it might have a bit of a darker tone.
Peter Parker kind of seems a bit more emo-ish.
Yeah, more the Peter that we maybe saw in Spider-Man 3, but a younger version.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm going to like this actor.
I'm not a big fan of the actor who's playing Peter / Spidey, but I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. I liked 500 Days of Summer, which the director also did, but I'm not giving it a lot of hope.
No.
And the one movie that I really enjoyed the trailer for next year was the new Aardman film, The
Pirates. Oh,
it looks so funny.
Looks so good.
Anything Aardman does is gold, though. So
yeah, it's going to be a great movie for kids and adults. You know, I think it'll have all those little like inside things that you know.
That's Aardman for you.
Yeah, exactly. That all the parents that take the kids to the movie will be like, hee hee, that was so funny. Yeah.
Next up, we have a bit of news from Comic-Con, of course.
Is it about comic books anymore?
No, not really.
No.
This actual news is video game related.
So there you go, right there.
So yeah, but it's also comic book related in that it's a comic book video game.
Oh, okay.
So the Capcom announced this week the roster for Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Okay.
So they've announced 12 new characters for the game. Included in this roster from Marvel are Ghost Rider, Hawkeye, Iron Fist, Nova, Doctor Strange, and Rocket Raccoon.
He'd probably be awesome in the game, though, I bet. He'll probably be the one that Rocket Raccoon.
He'll use his rabies to kill his
I know.
opponents.
I'm looking forward to Hawkeye. That's awesome.
On the Capcom side, they're going to be bringing in Strider, Firebrand from Gargoyle's Quest and Ghosts and Goblins, Virgil from Devil May Cry, Nemesis from Resident Evil 3, Phoenix Wright and Frank West from Dead Rising. In other news, Capcom canceled Mega Man Legends 3, a project that's been 10 years in coming into being. They basically brought it out to try and bring fans back into helping create the game, do new aspects to it, what they want. They wanted fans to help create the game and the game world.
Right.
So Capcom just decided to cancel it.
I'm sure they had a good reason.
We hope they did, but the rumor coming out of Comic-Con right now is that Capcom is banning and kicking out people who are Mega Man cosplayers or talking about Mega Man.
Interesting.
I don't know if this is true, but
we'd like to hear from
anyone who knows if this is true, please contact us, let us know.
Yeah, I'd like to know.
Because that's just whack.
Yeah.
And that's about all we have for news. We will see you next week.